Hello, hello, this is Captain Terra Phoenix, and today we are checking out the character trials for patch 1.1, starting with Childe. Now, if my controls look a little strange, it's because I'm trying out the controller setup. If I do die horribly, please forgive me. I am still getting a little bit used to it. But they do seem, from what I've done so far, a little bit easier to use than the regular PC controls, especially charged attacks. Okay, so before we start the trial, let's take a look at our character. Okay, so this is a level 80. Weapon is the Favonius longbow, or warbow. No constellations, so this is a no constellation test. And then for his talents, regular attack, obviously, can do 6 in a row. Foul Legacy Raging Tide. Now this is a fun one. So this is what makes Childe unique. He can actually change back and forth between an archer and a dual-wielding swordsman. So when you use this skill, you can use it for up to about 30 seconds or so. Instead of using his bow, he is a melee fighter, and all of his attacks do hydro. Still has the same number of combos, but they're a pretty good AoE from what I understand. And again, they do hydro. When you deactivate this, then the skill goes on cooldown, and is variable depending on how long you were in the stance. I think it says 45 seconds maximum. Yeah, 45 second maximum cooldown. With, if you interrupt it, it's anywhere between 6 and 36 seconds, which I imagine is 6 seconds plus the amount of time you were in the stance. But I haven't actually tested that yet. Next skill is his ultimate. So this one does a lot of damage. Those are some pretty big multipliers there. And this also is multi-form, depending on whether or not you're in melee or ranged stance. Just two different things. If you're in melee stance, it gives you a big AoE, and will also, if anyone has your debuff on them, cause secondary explosions for extra damage. If you use a ranged attack, you can spam this thing like nothing else because it returns a third of the cost to use the ability, in addition to any orbs you're going to generate just from doing elemental damage with it. And given that it's meant to hit a big group of opponents at once, you're going to get a lot of orbs from it. Next talent makes your debuff last longer, which is good for building up better hits and better secondary damage off of your ultimate. And then Sword of Torrents makes it basically a no-brainer to apply the Riptide debuff. Now, whenever you crit, or if you're in melee stance at all, from what I'm reading here, it applies Riptide. Then finally, his passive talent just increases your attack level by 1. And it's not just for him, it's for everyone on the party. So just by him being in your party, even if he's at level 1, he's going to make the rest of your party do more damage. And then other guy here is Kaya. He's Kaya. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this one out. Let's get our melee going. Maybe. Did I double tap that? There we go. look at how fast that ultimate is charging up. Because you generate elemental orbs every time you hit with an element. So Riptide's going, and ultimate.
This is gonna hurt.
12,000. Nice. And we're back to bow. So now we're going to switch to Kaya.
Dodge this. Oh, so sorry.
Okay, now back. So now, let's take a look at... Get a sec. Dang it. Give me a Riptide. Let's take a look at this one.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Wow. Impressive. And again, look at how quick his ultimate is recharging. Now, we can go back over here. He's really good at taking down fire shields. Dang. And ultimate again.
Oh, so sorry. Freeze.
Alright, so that went fairly well. Ended up taking a big bunch of damage at the end, but I really like Childe. He is everything I like in a character. Versatility, you can adapt to the situation without having to change character. And if you really need something to disappear, you can throw all of your cooldowns at once, flip to another character while they recharge, and then flip back. So not only does he have the ability to handle a whole bunch of situations on his own, he can also Alpha Strike and encourage you to use other characters while his skills are on cooldown. With his... We'll go ahead and continue to stage. With his constellations, which I don't think that I'm going to get, but with his constellations he becomes even more of a nightmare. So his first one decreases the cooldown on his melee skill by 20%, so you can use it much, much more frequently. His second one makes him a beast at regenerating energy. Again, once you have him up to his level 70, he is putting Riptide on everything he hits. Then he gets 4 elemental energy every time something with Riptide is defeated. Obviously, I haven't been able to try this in practice, but it does not say when he defeats it, just when they are defeated. So if you have a 1-2 combo, throw Riptide on everything, which is also going to give Hydro element to them, and then flip to an Electro character or a Fire character and do a massive AoE that destroys them all, well, now he's got a whole bunch of energy. Third constellation's a throwaway, it's just a skill upgrade. But the fourth one, now Riptide is a dot, a damage over time ability. Whenever you apply it, it is ticking every 4 seconds a amount of damage, which also again applies the Hydro debuff every time it ticks. So it allows you to pair really well with characters like Fischl, someone else who has a AoE debuff, or not AoE, a persistent elemental debuff with Oz, so you can really stack up the elemental combinations. Fifth one is just an upgrade, and sixth one, this one, you saw how fast his ultimate recharged. Well, with this one, every time you use the ultimate, you free up the cooldown on his melee stance. So just instantly can go back into melee. You never have to stop. I would love to get this, but there is no way. Unless they implement some sort of system to get constellations without duplicates, there's no way I'm ever going to get it. But if you are lucky enough to get this, congratulations, you have a god of a character. Alright, let's go ahead and get out of here. Hopefully I get the completion on that because of how I left it. If not, I can rerun it later. Nothing wrong with playing Childe again. He is fun and I hope to get him. Okay. Back to the events. Hey, I did get it. Claim. Then next is Diona, the cat girl. From what I understand, she is a frost bow healer. So she's similar in where you can use her to Chi-Chi, so that you can have a healer that doesn't cause your entire party to get frozen on things like Wolf of the North. And unlike Chi-Chi on Wolf of the North, you can actually use her, because using a melee character on Wolf of the North is usually a bad idea. Okay, cryopower has become her preferred method of treating a drunkard's alcohol dependency. Well, that's interesting. Elemental skill shoots ice paws that deal cryo damage and create a shield. Holding it longer increases the amount of ice paws fired and the shield's capacity. Activating Diona's elemental burst will make her toss out liquor, creating a drunken mist, which heals allies and deals cryo damage to enemies. Okay, so she has an ultimate that's kind of like Barbara's, but also gives damage as well. So it looks like kind of a disco priest from Warcraft. She's got a shield to prevent people from taking damage, a big heal, and does damage over time. Let's take a look at her stats really quick. What weapon did they give us? Favonius again. I really like that crit. She has a cat constellation. I like it. So her talents. Icy Paws. Fires out multiple paws. 2 for a quick press. 5 for a charge. Causes character to be affected by cryo when they have the shield up. So you gotta be careful. If someone hits you with water, that can freeze you. Signature Mix. That's her big attack. Doesn't have the hugest multiplier. Heal over time. So I'm curious if that only affects the current character or the entire party gets a regen buff. Shielded movement speed increase and stamina consumption decreased. That's nice. And debuffs the attack. Wow, this character kind of has a little bit of everything, doesn't she? Mobility, shield, decreases the enemy's attack. And then she is So she has Barbara's talent. Though actually, this is restorative effects. That might be status healing rather than just health. We'll have to see. Constellation regenerates 15 energy. Is that her ultimate? Yeah, that's her ultimate. So you use her ultimate, which costs 80, so it's a higher cost one. But you use her, and it regenerates 15 of that energy automatically. And because it does a dot, it's going to be regenerating energy as you use it. Icy Paws, damage by 15%. Increases the shield's strength, basically. Good. Additionally, when Paw hits their target, creates shield for other nearby characters on the field. So you can affect allies with that. That's mostly going to be used, that second part of it anyway, in co-op. Increases stats. Charge time for aim shots reduced by 60%. You can chain those things massively. Level up. Characters within Signature Mix's radius will gain the following effects based on their hit points. Increases incoming heal by 30% when you're at low health. Elemental Mastery up when at high health. Well, that's nice. So again, a mix of offense and defense. Let's take a look and see how she plays. Shield is really nice. Okay, now it broke. She has a lot of survivability. Alright, let's take a look at the ultimate. Alright, no constellations.
Don't get frostbite. Cool it.
The little back flip she does is also really nice, because that means that you can apply the shield and it'll not only protect you, but it also gives you a good evade.
Can't handle your drink.
Let's take a look at Kaya, see if he heals at all.
Oh, so sorry.
So she does have difficulty with these shields.
Try not to enjoy this.
I would really like you to die before your shield comes back up. Dang it. Well, that went fairly well. She does have a good amount of offense, but her only elemental damage is when she uses the shield and when they are in her ultimate. So it's not like a lot of bow users, not like a lot of offensive characters where when you use your E skill, it is continually doing elemental damage. So keep that in mind if you are taking her to deal with shields that react to cryo. Going to be a little bit difficult to do that role, but as a healer, she seemed decent. It looks like, from what we saw in Kaya, you have to actually switch to the character you want healed and keep them in that healing field, because it didn't look like they were healing passively while they were not on the field, so keep that in mind as well. So she's not going to completely replace Barbara, especially because people are going to have a ton of copies of Barbara at this point because they keep giving her out for free. But for certain fights where you want to prevent taking damage in the first place, I think she could be really, really strong. Because quite honestly, preventing taking damage is better than healing damage. Because when you're healing damage, you might die before you heal yourself fully. Because you're going to keep taking more damage. When you've got a shield, you're just not taking any damage. You're at full health. Oops. Leave domain. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at the next two characters. Both of these ones have been out for a while, but because they're on the banner, since you're pulling, you might get a good number of them. We'll take a look at them just so that you have a feel for them. So back to the event. Okay, so this one's Beidou. I do not use Beidou regularly. I don't have a lot of copies of her. That will probably change when I go to pull for Childe, so we'll see what happens. But I've heard very good things about Beidou. I, again, don't have any experience, so please don't judge me too harshly on this performance. Okay. Shield, and upon release she will swing her greatsword. So she's got a shield and a counterattack. Elemental Burst summons Thunderbeast Targe. While this is active, normal and charge attacks will create a lightning discharge that can jump between enemies, dealing electro damage. So that's pretty nice. Let's take a look at her... No, we don't want to leave. Let's take a look at her stuff. Yep, they just give Favonius Weapon for everything, don't they? They want to show those big crit numbers during the trial. Okay, so we'll do talents first. Normal attack, she's a greatsword user. She gets a 5-hit combo. Tidecaller, this is her counterattack. So if you just press it, it just does a electro attack, but if you hold it, she holds it up as a shield. Max damage absorbed scales off of HP. So at level 8, 23% of health plus 2600. So you're probably going to be seeing about a 40 to 50% health on that total. And then when it expires or when you release it, she does damage based off of the skill. Greatest damage bonus will be attained once the effect is triggered twice. And it shields extra against Electro. Okay, Stormbreaker is her ultimate. So she deals electro damage to nearby enemies. When a normal or charged attack hits, they create a lightning discharge that can jump between enemies, dealing electro damage. Increases the character's resistance to interrupted, and decreases damage taken. So this is similar to Fischl, where she's got an extra electro attack hitting when she attacks, like Oz does, but it also has a shield element, so she's going to be more durable. This is an 80 energy cost, though, so that one does take a little bit to charge up. Retribution, counter-attacking with your elemental ability precisely when you're hit, so it's a timing thing. Grants the maximum damage bonus. So you do more damage if you can do a perfect block. So it's like a fighting game. Okay, next one. This is the level 70 talent. Gain the following effect for 10 seconds after using Tidecaller with its maximum damage bonus. Damage dealt by normal and charged attacks is increased by 15%. Attack speed of normal and charged attacks is increased by 15%. Greatly reduced delay before unleashing charged attacks. Very nice, so you can spam out powerful hits, and you've got effectively a 30% DPS buff. Because 15% faster and 15% more damage. And then her final ability is you can swim farther. And finally, let's look at her constellation. Before we get in there. None of these will be active, same as anyone else. But give you a feel of, do you want a bunch of her? When Stormbreaker is used, creates a shield that absorbs up to 16% of Beidou's max HP for 15 seconds. So you get a second shield on top of the block. And this one will keep going for 15 seconds or until it goes away. Arc can jump to 2 additional targets. That's just a skill up. Within 10 seconds of taking damage, attacks gain 20% additional electro damage. And electro resistance surrounding enemies is decreased by 15%. So that's... I need to check the math on how this game works, but most of the games I play, 15% reduction to resistance is a lot more than just a 15% bonus to damage. I need to check the way the damage formula is calculated in this game. But again, in a lot of games, the way the formula works out, the 15% is the last thing applied, which means that everything gets a 15% damage bonus, which stacks up. But I don't know that for this game yet. I need to check it, though. Okay, that's enough of looking at numbers. Let's check how she plays. So, that's her counterattack. Gotta remember that one. That is a pretty quick cooldown for a charged counterattack. 7 seconds. And then, once again, we have Kaya as our backup. No heals, so we need to not die. Oop. 1, 2, 4, 5. Come on. Ah, missed it. Too early. Come on, you. Nope. Well, we got our ult. Let's check it. That is a lot of damage. Come on, give us multiple targets so we can see that arc. Nope, wore off on us. That is a lot of damage. Oop, shield guy.
Eyes on me! You haven't won yet!
Whoa, 10,000.
Not bad.
So that's the one problem with her counter. You got to get used to. Unlike a lot of fighting games, it does not interrupt her combo. So you can't be in the middle of swing and try to apply it.
You haven't won yet.
But she is really tanky for as much damage as she does. Imagine if I had the constellations I was giving the shields. I am probably going to have to start using her. I like her. I'm not sure if she would replace Fischl. I like Fischl a lot. But she's definitely good. I might raise her up for one of my Spiral Abyss teams. I still only have one, so I haven't been able to clear stage 5 yet. Alright, finally, someone who I am not sure how to pronounce her name. Ningguang, I think? Okay, so she is a Geo-Catalyst user. She's been around for a while, just like Beidou, but I haven't... or Beidou, but I haven't gotten her yet. So let's take a look. Geo-Catalyst is interesting, because most of the Geo characters I've seen are very defensive, but most of the Catalyst characters I've seen are very offensive. Ningguang's normal attack fires gems which grant Star Jades upon hitting the enemy. Accumulated Star Jades are fired all at once during her charged attack, dealing bonus damage. Elemental skill creates a Jade screen that deals geo damage and blocks enemy projectiles. Her elemental burst releases a great number of gems all at once to obliterate the enemy. So you want to hit a bunch with your normal attack to build up the power of your ultimate. Interesting. Well, since she deals... oh, we got some interesting backup on this one. Since she deals elemental damage with her regular attack, we should be able to build up her ultimate fairly quickly. God, I hate those things.
Don't waste my time.
Let's see what we got here. Interesting. Stay on this side so the projectiles are over there. Keep getting the shields. How many of those things I can build up. The occurs to me I've forgotten to look at her talents like I did with everyone else. So we will do that after we finish up here. We're taking a while to kill things.
Don't waste my time.
Oh. So she is a charge attack user, because that's doing a heck of a lot more damage than just the individual one was.
Don't waste my time. Submit. It's not.
Yep, that didn't place right.
Don't waste my time. Your life is mine.
That ultimate does a lot of damage. Well, that was different. She has a lot of tactical advantage because you can position that shield to block off the archers, which tend to get annoying. And it looked like it was actually blocking the mage's ranged attacks too. It was a little difficult to aim though, because she would lock onto someone, so rather than casting it right in front of her, she was casting off the side. Now you can't hold down to target the placement. So you gotta be careful with the placement of the shield, but if you place it, it places off, you can... What is that hitting her with? She's got a status up. Interesting. I don't know what that was doing. No, cancel. Let's see if we can find out. So... So, Favonius again. So, talents. Normal attack. Grant 1 Starshade. Does it say what the max is? Doesn't say. The screen. Endurance scales based off of her max HP. So that's similar to Barbara. Her ability scales off of her HP. Considered a geo-construct, can be used to block certain attacks but cannot be climbed. Only one Jade screen may exist at a time. So at level 8, it's 73% of her max HP. That's a fairly beefy shield. Star Shatter. Okay. If it is cast when Jade's screen is nearby, Jade's screen will fire additional gem projectiles at the same time. Damage per gem, 139%. And we were firing off a ton of... Wow. Energy cost is only 40, so that thing is spammable. 12-second cooldown, 40 energy cost. And again, every hit is going to give you a little bit of energy. When in possession of Star Jades, her charged attack does not consume stamina. I like this character. Strategic Reserve. A character that passes through Jade's screen will gain... Oh, that's what that was. 12% bonus geo damage for 10 seconds. Wow. That would add a lot to her, because she's a caster, so every attack is geo damage. That's not just her ultimate or her elemental skull. Every single attack is geo. Oh, and to top it all off, she can track ore veins for you. I love these minimap tracking abilities. Cleese is great for finding some of the mushrooms. Also finding some of the flowers for Venti. But ore is something that every character can use because you need to improve the weapons. Nice. And then her constellation... Piercing Fragments. When a normal attack hits, it deals AoE damage. Her regular attack deals AoE damage. This is her weakest constellation. Where does it go from here? Shock Effect. When Jade's screen is shattered, its cooldown will reset. Can only occur once every 6 seconds. So if you do lose your shield, you can just replace it. Or if you use your ultimate, which shatters it, it's going to allow you to recast it. That's a skill increase. Increase nearby characters' elemental resistance by 10%. So this is... Well, I assume this applies to her as well, but this would be biggest in co-op. Jade's screen is more powerful. When Star Shatter is used, she instantly gains 7 Star Jades. I wonder if that is before or after it fires off the ones that she has, because the ability fires all the Star Jades she has. This character, I saved her for last, but she is looking like she could be a nightmare. Especially in co-op. Because she has a lot of abilities that buff the party. Well then, I'm going to have to look out for this character. If I can get some constellations on her, I might use her. Okay, so that is the 4 characters on this banner. Childe, Diona, Beidou, and Ningguang. This is another solid banner. Quite honestly, I think Diona's the weakest on the banner, but her shield is kind of unique. There aren't a lot of characters that have it. You've got... Noelle has a shield, and Beidou has a personal shield, but I don't think she can give it to someone else. But Diona can give it to every member of the party if you have a couple of her constellations. So that's nice. But yeah, Childe, amazing versatility, and if you're lucky enough to get some constellations on him, he can do a massive amount of damage. Beidou, solid as always. And Ningguang, she is a surprisingly powerful character. I'll need to try her out, see if I can do a fair amount of damage with her. Because Geo's weird in that you can't really abuse the elemental reactions as much as you can with the others. So her damage would have to be very high to make up for that. But her defensive capabilities, her rapid fire, she seems like she can take out tightly packed groups extremely well. I mean, her normal attack with a single constellation does AoE damage. That is very powerful. It turns her into kind of a budget Klee. So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, definitely if you're going for Childe, there is no one on this banner I would be disappointed to get. Anyway, that is all for today. This is Captain Terra Phoenix. I hope you had a wonderful time. And until next time, have a wonderful... And I'll catch you next time.